Welcome to PartitionMagic, the standard in hard drive partitioning. If you have a hard disk, you have a partition. Let's cover some of the basics. A partition is a physical section of a hard disk. Each partition must be formatted with a file system. For example, Windows 98 uses a FAT32 file system. There are 4 types of file systems supported by PartitionMagic: FAT, FAT32, NTFS, and Linux. Move your mouse over the buttons to learn more about the characteristics of each file system. After the partition has been formatted with a file system, you can install an operating system. The computer assigns drive letters to the partitions that it recognizes or that are visible. The active partition is always assigned the letter C. The operating system is installed on the C drive. Let's review what we've covered so far. A hard disk is physical media that includes at least one partition. The partition is formatted with a file system, so it can be used by an operating system. The partition where the operating system is installed is called the active partition. The operating system assigns drive letters to the partitions that it can see on the hard disk, the visible partitions. In PartitionMagic, this hard disk would be represented on a disk map like this one. Sometimes a C drive just isn't enough. Having multiple partitions allows you to organize your hard disk space, protect your data, and easily back up your files. It's helpful to organize your hard disk by placing different types of files and folders into separate partitions. The operating system assigns a drive letter to each visible partition. If your operating system and data are in separate partitions, your data files are better protected from viruses or other unexpected events that might affect your hard disk. Having multiple partitions also makes it easier to back up your data files or your operating system with imaging programs like PowerQuest Drive Image or file backup programs like PowerQuest Data Keeper, which is included with PartitionMagic. If you have a good backup, you can get your data or operating system back if you delete files by accident or if your hard disk fails. There are 3 types of partitions: primary, extended, and logical. For your computer system to boot, it must first have a primary partition. A hard disk can have up to 4 primary partitions. An extended partition is a special kind of primary partition. An extended partition extends the number of partitions a hard drive can have. An extended partition is a container for logical partitions. You can create as many logical partitions on your hard disk as you want to help you organize your data. Logical partitions are best for data files. Logical partitions aren't good for operating systems because most operating systems can't boot from a logical partition. Move your mouse over the buttons to learn about the characteristics of each partition type. If you only have a C partition, creating a new partition for your data is a snap. The split feature lets you split the C drive and move your data files into a separate partition. Let's show you how this works. Select the partition to split. Click Split Partition in the Action panel. Select the files or folders to move. Label the new partition. Select Logical Partition. Select a drive letter. Now you have 2 partitions, one with the operating system and the other with your data. If you only have one partition, you can only run one operating system on your computer. PartitionMagic makes it possible to install a second operating system without uninstalling or overriding the existing one. Suppose you started with a Windows 98 partition and a data partition. You decide you want to try out Windows XP without getting rid of Windows 98. First, you need to install PowerQuest PartitionMagic, included with PartitionMagic. PartitionMagic will let you decide which operating system to run. Next, click Install another operating system in the Action panel to reconfigure your hard disk to make room for a new primary partition. Click View Instructions and print the detailed steps on installing the operating system. You'll need these after you complete the wizard. Click Windows XP. Select the location for the new partition. Choose which partitions to take space from. Accept the default settings. Notice that the new partition will be set active. Confirm your choices. After you apply the changes, you can install Windows XP following the instructions you printed earlier. When the computer reboots, the PartitionMagic menu displays the list of available operating systems. You choose Windows 98. PartitionMagic hides the Windows XP partition because only one operating system can be visible to the computer at one time. The computer loads Windows 98. To use Windows XP, reboot the computer. Choose Windows XP from the PartitionMagic menu. PartitionMagic sets the Windows XP partition active and hides the Windows 98 partition. The computer loads Windows XP. Files in a data partition are visible from either operating system. You can access files in a hidden partition using the PartitionMagic file browser. There are several places to learn more about PartitionMagic. The Quick Start Guide gives an overview of the product and helpful information for getting started. The Help system covers the full details of PartitionMagic. A full user guide is available in PDF format from the Help menu. The PowerQuest website includes a searchable knowledge base for answers to questions and solutions to problems. Congratulations, and thank you for purchasing PartitionMagic, the standard in hard drive partitioning.